You won't believe what appeared in my photos from a quiet, dry creek bed. Fairies revealed themselves in ways that surprised even me. On September 13, 2023, I felt called to stop by a dry creek bed along the road. I didn't go there to take pictures of the scenery, just a few random photos, as I often do, guided by my intuition. Some of you who follow my channel may remember visiting this place with me before. The fairies here have appeared in photos in the past, but today I'm going to share a new way to help you see them more clearly. Out of 22 photos, 11 revealed extraordinary fairies. Today I'll be sharing 3 of the clearest photos with you. One of them holds a single fairy, the other 2 have 2 fairies each, for a total of 5 magical beings. Let's begin with photo number 3334. Take a moment to really let your eyes wander around the image. Somewhere in this photo, a fairy has revealed itself. I'll give you just a moment and a helping hand by enlarging the photo to see if you can sense where they might be hiding. So we're going to take it up to 100% for you, and I'll go down and start over in the bottom left corner like I do when I search, and I'll just take you slowly through there. Keep in mind there's probably more than one fairy in here, but we are working with one specific fairy out of this photo today. So we're almost over to the right hand side. And remember, you can always pause the video, and then I'm going to move up because we need the rest of the photo. And here we go. All right, there we see it. Okay, so let's take it to the normal size. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull up the rectangle to show you where this fairy actually is. So in the photo, this is where the fairy is, and I will even make it a little bit bigger so that you can see it. I'm showing you this so you know that the fairy is actually in the photo. It's not something I did. So now let me show you more clearly. What you see on the screen is how I previously shared the individual fairies with you in my videos with a close-up of them in their natural habitat, like here, and then also a labeled version. And the downside to the labeled version was the fact that if I started adding arrows to show you every little bit, like the eyes and the nose and the mouth, it would not allow you to see things very clearly. So I tried to keep the labeling to a minimum. Sometimes it did not help for some people to be able to see. So I promised to share a new way to help you see them more clearly. So let me show you that. So we have an enlarged version of this fairy here, and I'm going to put a very bad rendition over top. And I think I have his face tilted a little bit, but it's showing you where his body parts are so that you can actually see him. And to know that there is something there. And in fact, I can isolate him too. So then we can put that over top. So hopefully that will allow you to see the fairies better, more clearly. I'll put his background back. Look at that. So we can see the shoe and the leg, and he's kneeling on one leg. And of course his face and his hat and his shirt. So there he is. He might have been hiding in there, but he is very, very clear, at least to my eyes, which is why I kind of was able to paint him up for you. So does this help? I know it's not perfect, but I do think it helps to let you see the fairies more clearly. So let me know what you think in the comments below. So here we have picture number 3340. And again, I'm going to enlarge it for you and to 100%, and we will quickly go through it like we did the last one to allow you to see perhaps any fairies in there. And this one had multiple fairies, but we are looking at 2 from this photo today. So we're going to go through, and something's changed a little bit on the computer where it's kind of taking my pictures and making them kind of overlap in weird ways, but it's what we have to work with. So, all right, back all the way up to the top here and see if you see anything specific. It's kind of amazing when I go through these photos, I always see more than what I actually have marked. Okay, so that is the full photo. And we are going to take a look at 2 today. And the first one, I'm going to show you the square around it. And here he is. And I really feel bad for this one because he looks like he's in distress. He really does. It's kind of a sad thing because I feel as though I really scared him or something. So, or he might be scared by something completely different, but I think it was me. Anyway, so let's move on. Take this back down and I will show you the labeled version. As you saw in the original video of this dry creek bed, we see him here. And again, we labeled. You can't get very close, and that is a problem. You know, obviously you can tell this is his chin, but I didn't label the mouth because, you know, his arm is here, so I didn't label the mouth because I didn't want to get in the way of the arm. And so anyway, the labeling is very limited. So here is an enlarged version of just him and my probably very badly done painted version, but hopefully this will allow you to see what's actually going on in the picture. So the gray parts are his hands. This is an arm. I suppose I could get an arrow here. This is his arm. Here is arm and body. Here's a shoulder. Obviously, we can't see the rest of him. And I would hope that his face was clear. Now, originally, I thought he had hair, but I'm unable to find any here. There could be, but I don't see any myself. So here he is. Hopefully you can get a better idea of when I'm showing you fairies, this is what you're seeing. All right, so moving on to the second fairy in this photo, I'm going to put a rectangle around this one too and enlarge for you. Oop. All right, so this one is here in the photo. It's not very far from the original one. I'll put that box around him again. It's not so far from that one. But this one, as you can see, looks like it's wearing some very interesting stuff. And I'll show you better in this. It might even have a mustache, but I'm not sure. All right, so let us take this back down to original size and move to the next labeled version. Yeah, I marked it as a nose and a mustache. So his nose is a lot further out from the face than I would expect it to be. And he had big glasses, a very interesting hat or helmet. His butt, and again, let me get the arrow. His butt curves around like this. And here's a foot. We have an arm here, and there's another arm over here. So this one looks like he's actually bending down at the waist, and here's a knee. So we see one leg, and then the foot. He's actually bending down as though he's trying to lift something or planning on lifting something. So let us take a look at a bigger version here without all the extra. And see these big glasses? This nose might actually be part of those glasses, but I don't know for sure. And here is the painted version, which really not that great. Kind of reminds me of, well, Gosh, I don't know what it reminds me of actually, but this is what we have. So we can see the foot, his knee, his butt. Here's an arm, the helmet that he's wearing, and eyes and a nose, and I do believe he had a mustache here. So now that I've done it this way, can you see him? So it is kind of amazing. Once you see them like this, hopefully, if you go back to the larger photo, to the actual photo, and I show them to you this way, hopefully you can see what he looks like without a lot of strain of going, oh geez, I have no idea what I'm looking at. Same with this guy here. Hopefully you can look at him and see that, oh, there's his foot and his knee and his butt here, and he's wearing a helmet and big old glasses, and he's lifting something. So that's my hope anyway. So now we have 2 more fairies to go through in one other photo. So on to photo number 3351. And by the way, if you hear something in the background, it is my Chihuahua Sammy snoring, so please excuse that. Anyway, here is 3351, and it is the last photo that we will go through in this video today. We are looking for 2 different fairies, although this one had a lot of fairies in it. And if you're interested in seeing what the other fairies were, I'll put the link up above for you for the other video that you can take a look at. That one only has the labeled fairies within it. Okay, so let's make this bigger, 100% again, and go through it to see if you can spot any fairies. And like I said, this one had a good number of them in it. And for the purpose of this video, I normally take mine up to 200% when I'm searching for fairies, but for this video I'm only taking it to 100%. All right, so going up so we can cover the rest of the photo here, we have this. Sorry for the split version. Hopefully I'll get a different computer this month and we won't be having that issue. That's my hope anyway. All right, so now that you've seen the whole picture, we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look at the first fairy, and I'm going to mark the box here and then take it up in size so that you can see. Now this is a very strange looking fairy, but there is no mistaking. Okay, so let's look at the labeled version. Let's take this off quick. Here he is again, and I've marked again with the label. Marked the hat, the hand, which is hard to miss, the arm, the chin, the face, and I would have liked to mark the nose for you and the eyes and the other arm, the cloak, all that stuff, but it takes away from the image itself. Sometimes I have to, put an arrow on something and then you can't actually see the shape anyway. So here we've got an enlarged version again, and I've painted him. He looks a lot rougher in this, okay? But you get the gist here. We have the hand and the arm. Part of the arm, this is probably the elbow, and it's kind of hidden in the ratty looking cloak that he's wearing. His other arm goes up next to the face. You can see that there's 2 eyes, there's a nose, there's even a black something on the nose here that I didn't add in. The hat, and these are just, the black is just shadow of his cloak. So there, if you can see this with the help of the painted version, please let me know in the comments below. So now we're going to move on to the old man, what I call the old man. I love this one so much. It is so clear. So I'm going to put the rectangle around him, and he's lengthwise right here. Look at that. Hopefully you can see him without a painted version, but if not, I'm about to help. So hold on here. Now I'm still debating whether he has glasses or not. I'm thinking he does, but I didn't mark glasses at all. So anyway, we do have the label, and the label is pretty neat, okay? Shows you various things such as his feet and his knees, where his arm is, his mouth, his eyes, nose, his beard, and his hat, okay? But again, you can't label everything. This one I might have been able to. I might have been able to label the eye and then come over here and label the other eye and coat and stuff like that without ever touching this fairy, because he's kind of tall and slim. But it's so much easier to do it this way. Now I isolated him here. And again, not perfect, but it gives you a much better way to view, to make sure that you're seeing what you think you're seeing, or that you're seeing anything at all. I had a hard time with the knees because obviously his legs are separate here. Okay, here is a knee. And again, I did label that. See, there is a knee, and then there is a knee. Okay, but I had a hard time with the labeling. I got this one, I think, but this one, not so much. And then the directions of the feet. So yeah, he is looking right at us, clear as can be, sitting on that piece of tree. So hopefully this has done something for you in being able to see the fairies, and I'm hoping that I will get better at painting them for you. And here I've isolated him just for fun, okay? So there he is, isolated. Legs, we can definitely see the feet and the legs. There's the knees all the way up to the tip of his hat. So there you have it. We have a new way of viewing these fairies now. So that is it for this video. Hopefully this new way of viewing will work for you, and I'm hoping to have more videos coming soon. I know that I wrote in the community tab that I was pretty much done with FaerieQuest, but you know what? When you love something so much, it's very, very hard to let it go. So I have been out doing more photos, and I'm going through photos so that we can have new places, or at least new pictures to take a look at. Okay, that's it for this. Thank you for joining. Until next time, take care.